Good morning, everyone. It's Robert from On My Turntable. Hope you're having a great morning this morning. It's snowing. It's crappy. It's windy. It's supposed to be one day closer to spring, and it's not. So I chose something that would kind of go along with this crappiness. Not that this band that I'm going to speak about is crap. They're actually amazing, but it's their music that maybe goes along with this. It's a band called Opeth. Amazing Swedish band, progressive metal, hard rock, blues, folks, classical, jazz, progressive rock, death growl, death metal. It's just they're just an amazing band. So I think it's appropriate that I talk about them this morning on this dark and dreary day. Not that their music is amazing. I'm not comparing their music to this crappy weather out there, but I think it's just appropriate that I talk about them. Before we get into it, please hit the like and subscribe button below. Thank you to all that have liked and subscribed so far. I greatly appreciate it. I want to continue to put great content out there to be informative and to show you guys some great bands and artists that I have in my collection. So Opeth, again, a progressive metal band from Stockholm, Sweden, formed in 1989. Their music incorporated progressive sounds, progressive rock, progressive metal, folk and blues, classical and jazz, along with death metal and death growl in their earlier years. They stopped that in their later years, but it doesn't take away from the music. The music is just amazing, and not every song has the death growl on it. I was never into that type of thing, but it's the music quality that makes it, I guess, bearable and likable. And again, the music is just beautiful. Super talented band. Their 8th studio album, Ghost Reveries, which I'll be speaking about in just a second. This one here. Was quite popular in the U.S. And kind of started them being on the map, but the album Watershed solidified them being on the map. Watershed pushed them to number 23 on the Billboard's Top 200. That is of 2009, and they started in 1989. As of 2009, Opeth had sold 1.5 million albums worldwide. So I have 5 out of their 13 studio albums. I plan to get their complete discography. As I said, I think they're amazing band. So their 5th studio album, Blackwater Park, and the artwork in these booklets are just truly amazing. There's a great picture of the band there. So Blackwater Park is their 5th studio album, released in 2001. It was their first collaboration between Opeth and Porcupine Tree's Steve Wilson, an amazing producer and remixer, I guess, of great music. He produced the album, although it didn't chart in North America or the UK, The album did produce 2 singles, Drapery Falls and Still a Day Beneath the Sun. It's been it's basically it's been praised by the critics as the band's coming of age album. So what I've done is, out of the 5 albums, I've chosen 12 songs, 2 from each single CD, and then the last, there's 4 from the double CD that I'll be speaking of. So from Blackwater Park, I chose the Drapery Falls, sorry. Is it going to start for me? Oh, of course it's not responding. There we go. There we go. And Dirge for November.
Lord, here is nowhere, searching home still, turning past me. Oh,
This is why I chose it, for the excellent guitar work. Super talented, is in my opinion, for sure. Next on the list is Ghost Reveries. The illustrations are quite dark and appropriate for the song title. Amazing illustrations in here. Illustration of the band. So Ghost Reveries was their 8th studio album, released in 2005. It's their first album to be on Roadrunner Records, and the first to introduce keyboardist Pete Wiberg, and the last album to include drummer Martin Lopez and guitarist Peter Lindgren. The album's only single is the the Grand Conjuration. The Grand Conjuration. Some of their song titles are quite unique. So from this, I've chosen Reverie, Harlequin Forest. And again, the Grand Conjuration. Come on. It's not stopping. There we go. Spotify is giving me grief this morning. turned my computer off last night. I started up, and of course all these things are opening up, and yeah, normally I don't, but I thought I'd give it a break. Next we have Watershed. Creepy photo on the back. I would have put all the songs on a playlist, but it would have been over 5 hours of music, and that may be just a little too much on a playlist. Again, all their illustrations are just amazing in these packages. So Watershed is the 9th studio album, released in 2008. It's the first album to feature Frederick Akesson on guitar and drummer Martin Axelrod. It's also the last album to contain death growls or death metal elements. So from Watershed, I've chosen Burden. And again, most of these songs are quite long. I think this is a 7-minute long song. It's not 3 or 4 minutes worth of. I'll just push it a little forward. Next is Hex Omega. Music appropriate for the stuff that's happening outside. It's starting to snow again. Next I have Pale Communication. I'm sorry, Pale Communion. Wow. Pale Communion. Not as dark as the previous albums as far as their CD packaging, where the others are darker, and this one happens to be a little love the front cover though. So Pale Communion is, sorry, I'm having trouble getting that in, 11th studio album released in 2014. It again mixed by Steve Wilson. It's the first album to feature keyboardist Joachim Svalberg, hope I'm saying that correctly, after Pierre Wiberg left in 2011. The album sold just under 20,000 copies in its first week, and it's debuted at number 19 on the Billboard's 200 charts. So from that, I chose Eternal Rains Will Come. And Voice of Treason. And last but not least, we have Sorceress. It's a double CD. They do amazing work on their music packaging. So Sorceress is their 12th studio album, released in 2016. The album draws inspiration from Mikhail Ackersfeldt's personal life as he went through a divorce in 2016. From this, because it's a because it's a double live, man, I can't speak this morning, because it is a double CD, I chose 4 tracks from it, so I chose the title track, Sorceress. And Chrysalis. The Ward. I'm just going to push this just a little forward. Amazing musicians. And finally, Spring. I know this represents perhaps a year. MCM LXXIV. So there you have it. There's 12 songs from the band Opeth. Of course, it's only 5 of their studio albums, but please check them out. Great band. It's I wouldn't even call it a unique listen. It's just an amazing listen, and a band that I'm starting to get into. And I like to be diversified in my musical tastes, and this is just another example of that. And I'll get more of them for sure. Again, please like and subscribe. Thank you to all that have liked and subscribed so far. Please be careful out there today. It's a crappy day if you're going anywhere. Have yourself a wonderful day, and take care. Bye-bye now.